Welcome to Community Spotlight with Think Tank. These conversations are for entrepreneurs to connect with each other, learn about each other, and be inspired by the unique wisdom that we all share. Each of our stories are different because we face different challenges, but that means what you've learned along your journey is very valuable to bring to the community so that we can learn from you and we can all move one step farther. For those who are here live, please put your questions in the chat. I will be looking out for that so you can ask Mary questions as we move along. But let's dive in with my next guest, Mary Katungu, who for 15 years worked in the public school education system and has since shifted her focus to educating individuals and families about homeownership and is now a mortgage loan officer. Welcome, Mary.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I would love to hear, because that's a big shift, moving from education into what you're doing now. And so I'd be really curious to hear about your journey of what brought you to this moment. And so would you share a bit about your journey to where you are now?
Yes, so when I was in education, I was also interpreting for a deaf agent, real estate agent. And so who is deaf? Yeah, I said who is deaf. And so that got me interested to learn more about what's going on in the mortgage industry. And learn more about the lingo, the terminology when interpreting, and also I had to prepare for that. And so during COVID, I decided, was I going to go back into education or, pursue something different? So I decided to take my test for mortgage, a national, I had to take classes and then took a national test and I passed it. And so I was doing that on the side for 2 years, but just partially. But then because of many things, challenges that are happening in the school system, and I needed change. And I'm also a lifelong learner, so I like to learn new things. And so I decided, okay, I'll just continue with the mortgage industry. And so that's how I'm involved in that. And also I'm also, even though I was in the education system, I will still educate people about mortgages because there are many things that people don't know about mortgages. I'm finding about that, or people who haven't bought homes before, they are used to renting and they need to learn the processes, what's the requirements of having the advantages of having a home.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'll use that.
Well, it sounds like education and learning has been a huge part of your journey, personally and professionally.
Yes.
And you mentioned just now too that you build in education into what you're doing with families now. So what does that look like as you do that, as you offer education to folks?
Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm finding that some people have never bought a home before because, for example, their parents always rented, and so that's what they are used to. And so I'm like, no, you have benefits of buying a home, and these are the benefits. And then another thing I explain is that people who have homes, their assets are more than those who rent, because those who have their homes, they are paying their own mortgage, equity is there for them. While you rent, you are paying someone else's mortgage and you'll never see the benefits of that. So I have to educate that. I was also born in Kenya, and I'm finding that some people don't know anything because of culture differences. How we build homes at home is very different from here. And so I need to provide education. Okay, you need your credit score. Some people they always buy everything with cash because they just think they don't want to owe anything. So those kind of things, I need to educate them that the credit score is important. You have to pay things on time and all that. So a lot of educating happens there.
That's wonderful. I mean, it also
Mhm.
sounds like you have like a very diverse client set. that you really want to bring in folks that maybe haven't ever experienced homeownership in their families even. Has there been anything that's been surprising or challenging as you moved into this new venture that's a lot different than education?
Yeah, I have to learn new programs because, for example, where I work right now, Aslan Home Lending, the company, we partner with 75 investors. And so each investor has their own program, okay? Okay, now I need to fill in this, I need to do this, and then I have to learn how they set up their program. This one is different. So there's not that consistency. So I have to keep learning each time how each investor has set up their program. And that is something that's challenging. I have to keep asking questions. Okay, how do you do this? This way in this company or this investor, they do things this way. Okay, yours is different. Now I need to learn theirs. So that has been a bit challenging, but it's good for me because I like learning new things.
Yeah, well, it sounds like your personal strength and that ability to learn and just like passion for that has really helped you with this big transition.
Yes.
I have one question in the chat that said, in your experience, what are the most optimal ways to build credit?
The most optimal ways to build credit are it's good to have a credit card by pay things on time, pay it off or pay it. You can pay whatever minimal or don't overuse it or above the limit. Another thing is when you pay, I've had clients, especially I'm finding those from Africans. I've only been with Aslan doing the whole process, everything. This is my 4th month. And so I'm finding that people co-sign for other friends, and they're like, I'm helping, and they don't realize that's impacting their credit. So those are some of the things I have to say, no, it's not a good idea to co-sign because that means that's also going to be part of your debt. Not paying on time, paying their credit cards on time. That's also an impact on the credit. So those kind of things, but it's good not to have so many credit cards either. So just a few, and if someone doesn't have a credit card to build their credit, they can get a secure credit card, which they are using their own money, but they use their credit card, but it's improving their score.
Thank you. Really helpful. I have another question in the chat that says, what do immigrants to the US most misunderstand about homeownership in the US? Or what would you have wanted to know when you arrived?
Okay, rent or buy.
Say,
Which one?
oh, yes. What do you think is most misunderstood about homeownership?
Okay, it's a good idea, depending on the state. Like I live in Colorado. Okay, when mostly the clients, the agent and I have worked with, they turn off, or during the winter, when they leave the house, they turn off the heat. And so they think they are saving, therefore their utility bills. Not when they come in, then they turn on the heat. So those are some of the things that we have to teach people. Another thing is buying a home. Many people are like, if I'm using cash, it's good for me. Now, we say that because I was in the school system, we say that your credit score is like your school report card, your adult school report card. So you need to have a credit score before you have a home. You need to have some money in your account, because all those, if you're spending all your money all the time, also that determines if the amount of home you can buy. So some people are like, oh, my credit score is 700 something, but they don't have anything in their account. And so everything impacts the amount of home you can buy.
That makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm curious too, like since you've done this big transition, you're now 4 months into working with Aslan, but you've been doing this for a couple of years. Is there anything that you've learned about your own self as you've made this transition into a new field?
What I've learned is that in the school system, I felt the school system, I felt like I had to follow rules. I had to do this. I wasn't being creative. Or if I was being creative, I had to provide ideas. They are always swept under the rug. They are like, even if they were going to meet the needs of the students, those were not important. They were not following whatever they wanted to do. In being in more independent now, I can control my own schedule. I know I like to meet people and talk with people and get to connect with people. So that has made me connect with different people, meet with different people in the community that I would not have met if I was in the school system.
I really hear your heart for people, like how much you're passionate about people and helping them have like better futures, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and we have another question here. So, how different is building a business in the US than in Kenya? Or if you had had one then? What is most surprising to you about building a business here?
So in Kenya, if I had a business, anyway, I came here when I was 18 after high school. So I've been here for a while. In Kenya, mostly it depends on the kind of business. You can get a loan or most of the time, people pay cash. So for example, with homes, people build homes slowly while they are paying everything with cash. So they don't owe anything, but now they are learning the Western way of doing things. They are getting loans, but they would rather pay everything with cash. So that's why when they come here in America, they are like, I want everything paid in cash. And so that's a difference there. Here, what I have learned is because I didn't realize how debt to income ratio is very huge when you buy a house. Because I was thinking, oh, I can just buy a house with 620 points, credit score, whatever. No, so now I've learned that. And also, the more money you have, the bigger home you buy.
Yeah. Well, okay, thank you. Yeah. I know some of the questions were about Kenya, but you thank you for clarifying that, you
Uh-huh.
came here when you're 18. Um, so what are your next goals in the maybe 3 to 6 months for what you're doing now?
Okay, so my goal is I'm trying to collaborate with different companies or agencies or nonprofit to educate. That's my goal. For example, there's an organization I just joined. It's more, they call themselves professional realist something. I just joined that and they are just starting the chapter here. It's a national organization, but they are just starting a chapter here. So I want to work with them. And also they want to provide a lot of educating especially the low social income community on the benefits of buying a home, how to improve credit score and all that, and just working through the whole process. So I want to be involved in that. And also yesterday I attended an event where they were doing fundraising for the veterinarians. And I also want to be involved with that to help out in the community and just educating. And also I attend a Kenyan church, and the pastor is Kenyan and most of the congregation is Kenyan, and I want to provide education to them about, the credit score, all that stuff. So that's my goal.
Very cool. They sound very busy.
Yeah, yes. I
Well, you
want
had
to be involved in the community. Yes.
yeah, I love
Mhm.
that. You had mentioned that you have a lot more independence now, right? Like as being a mortgage loan officer. And so how do you manage the fact that you are so connected? Like what, as you manage your time and your projects, like what has been helping you in that process?
Okay, in this process, so Aslan has been providing me with training on how to manage my time. And so I've been doing that and having accountability. Yeah,
Nice.
like how many people I need to call, how many realtors I need to call. And also when I wake up in the morning, I do my exercise. I have my routine, and then I listen to a videos. They are live broadcasts. It's broadcast in the morning at 6:30. It is on our company back in back east. And so I listen to that. They are explaining what to do the next day or what to do. So that has really helped me to support to support me in scheduling time, making calls, and when to do networking and when to do paperwork. So this is my 4th month, so I'm still
Yeah,
working on
absolutely.
that on that routine. Yeah.
No, I totally understand. I know there's a lot of
Mhm.
us at different levels of our projects and what we're doing. And I
Mhm.
love that you have a lot of support from the company. And then also, it sounds like you do a lot to sort of center your own self. And
Mhm.
oh, I'm getting my little time reminders here. But we're
Mhm.
coming towards the end of the conversation. I would
Okay.
love to hear too, maybe just lastly, like what is something of your own strengths you would like to offer the community, and what would you like to receive from this community?
Okay, I have a master's in education leadership. And that's where I'm very community minded. I have done a project where I brought community together and be able to discuss the needs and how planning the strategies and all to achieve whatever to meet the needs of the people. So I've done that. And so I really like the education part, networking. I need leads if there are any.
Yeah.
Yeah, so since this is my 4th month, that's why I'm networking and looking for that. And I like Aslan a lot because they have they partner with 75 investors, and they provide different loan products. So that's why what I want to do and educate people in the community.
Thank you so much for sharing. I can
Mhm.
really feel your heart for community and for what you're doing. And I really hope that the folks in this community can also support you and your vision for the future. And no,
Okay, thank you.
yeah,
Thanks. I hope I did. I hope I did well.
you did. You did. I love hearing from you, and excited if you share any more, like in the as posts in the community. I'd love to hear more about your story and what you're doing. So, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.